Well, hello there, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Hey Ben, hey Terry, hey Ben, Bent, yes, Bent, Johnny. Hey everyone. Thanks for joining me in these weird times we're going through right now. Hope everyone is doing well, and hope you're washing your hands and all that kind of stuff. We are kind of semi-quarantined here in Finland right now, which is, I guess, a little bit weird because we're kind of not supposed to go any place, but a lot of places are still open. It's strange, but yeah, we've been staying a lot of at home lately, and that just makes sense. We don't want to affect anyone else or pick up the disease ourselves either. So, thumbs up. Uh, Please excuse the mess in my studio. It's been a bit hectic lately, and if there's some weird stuff going on with the video, for example, I bought a new camera today, which might be a stupid idea to use it like right away for a live stream. It kind of struggles with exposure and stuff. I actually had to like go and change my hoodie to like a slightly lighter color one because it kind of took my hoodie as like dark space and it like overexposed everything. So we'll see how this works, but I'll try. And yeah, what we're talking about today is this, and then there's the other guitar. I can't reach it. You saw it on the thumbnail, in the thumbnail that is, and you've seen it on many of my videos as well. This way. Yeah, so this is my telly. I've built it myself at a guitar building course. 2014 was when it was done. I was actually building this for 2 years, I think. Um, Started in 2012, if I remember correctly, and I took basically like 2 courses to make this happen. So from fall of 2012 to late, like maybe December 2013 or early 2014, I think it was when this was actually finished. Victor, woohoo! Yeah, good to see you. Well, see you. Good to have you on chat. This is going to be a live stream of super fun jokes. Yay! But yeah, that's the story of this guitar, and yeah, it's been my main guitar for many years. Lately, I've been playing the Ibanez AZ much more, just because it's kind of new and exciting. But when I picked this up, well, first of all, I realized it needs a set of new strings, but it's good. Like, uh, it's not a egoistic thing to say that I think this guitar is good, even though, I mean, yeah, even though I built it myself, I was distracted by a message that just popped up. Uh, yeah, it turned out great by accident, to be honest. I had a really good teacher at the guitar building course, and for those who don't know, the way it works is that like there's roughly 10 of us, and well, while I was building this, I did like a weekly course, so every Thursday from like 4 p.m. to maybe 8:30 p.m. went to the course at his workshop. There were, all the tools were there. We could buy the woods we need for the guitar from that place, and he would basically take us step by step through the whole building process. Pretty much everyone was at a kind of different point of the guitar building, which is good because if all of us would be painting at the same time, it would be a lot of waiting and stuff. So nobody usually finished their project in a year or roughly that time. It usually took longer, so like different people would at different stages, so it kind of made sense. And yeah, usually they recommend you to start with a telly because it's a slab of wood. Like body construction is a slab of wood. You just pretty much glue this together. If it's not like one piece, you glue it together and then you cut out the shape. And after saying video fine, thank you Terry, I was just about to check the chat, and Minecraft graphics, what, where? Where do we have Minecraft graphics? Oh, you mean my awesome intro screen? I'm not sure if that's Minecraft, but I haven't actually played Minecraft, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, let's go with Minecraft. But Hello, now we should have audio. Sorry. Audio? Audio? My brother, by the way, who is doing moderating here as well, is trying to call me. No, there should be audio. Sorry. Mistake with OBS. See, apparently you need to add an audio source to every scene that you use. Now there should be audio, right? F. Yeah, let's jump back. Sorry about this one. Woo! Sorry. All right. So you start with a slab of wood. You draw the rough telly shape on it. And sorry, by the way, the photos for this build aren't that great because cell phones in 8 years have advanced quite a lot, kind of camera quality wise. So these are rough, but I think you get the idea. Yeah, you start with a slab of wood and draw out a rough body shape. Yes, that's what I'm repeating right now. Basically, well, let's go even back further. Sorry, guys. Highly professional as always. So yeah, guitar. I was building this guitar at a guitar building course. There's roughly like 10 people per course. I attended every Thursday from like 4 p.m. to roughly 8:30 p.m. Something like that. And there was a teacher, a professional luthier. We could use his workshop. We could use his tools. And most of the people were kind of different stages of their builds. Not everybody started from the beginning right there, and I think it was me, like 2 or 3 guys that started building their own tellies. We got a slab of wood. We would basically draw out the shape. He had like all the templates to draw the body shapes and stuff like that. We would cut out the wood and then start to kind of sanding basically and doing everything else that was needed. Apparently, like, I wasn't documenting this process early on that well because I don't have that many photos, because this is the photo you see right now. There's like a rough drawing of the body shape and everything like that. And the next photo, oh look, it's already a kind of sawn, drilled guitar body. I also have a neck there already and ebony fretboard as well. The neck is maple, and as you can see by the color, it's been kind of oil finished. So it's much darker and kind of brown colorish compared to what it was when I started building it. And yeah, fretboard is ebony. Yeah, wow, like I really skipped a lot while taking photos. I mean, at the time I wasn't into social media as much, and I guess I just never thought that I would need these. These photos are from November. This is from October 2012, and this photo of me gluing the fretboard to the neck is from, yeah, this is November 2012. Look how many, I don't know, presses, whatever they are called, you need. Because you kind of want to, when you are gluing a fretboard, you want to distribute the kind of pressure evenly throughout the fretboard so it stays well. So yeah, that's what you need to do to make that happen. Moving on to the next photo. Come on, come on. Here it is, and yeah, this is another proof that I didn't document my process a lot, because here's the fretboard glued, and I also have the fretboard markers there as well. Let's switch to this photo quickly. As some people might have noticed, this guitar has a really weird 12th fret inlay, because there's 2 dots like that. Oh, there you go. 2 dots like that. And that is just just a mistake, because I was so focused on like doing the proper holes for each of the fretboard markers. I just kept drilling 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, 15th, 17th, 19th, and 21st. And once I had drilled all of the holes, I was like, wait, where's the 12th fret? And because I had drilled one here in the middle, I was like, all right, there's 2 options. Either I would do like 1 on each side, and then it would look symmetrical, and maybe most people wouldn't even like realize that it's a mistake. But instead, I kind of decided to emphasize it and just drilled one over there, and that kind of became a thing. And yeah, I guess I tried to make the best out of a simple mistake that can happen because I'm not like super proficient using all of the tools that you need to use there, and you might get a bit nervous and you need to be concentrated that like everything stays in place when you're drilling, so the drill like doesn't throw your neck somewhere or anything like that. That could happen as well. I think actually, now that I think about it, when I was sanding in the body, I think the belt sander caught the body and kind of sent it flying through the room. But somehow it survived and there's no like apparent damage on this. Like that's cool. And by the way, guys, if you want to ask any questions about any stages of the build, I'll try to stop every few minutes and check out the comments and answer questions if you have any. Hey Poo Ninja, good to have you here as well, and everyone else as well. Thanks for tuning in. Attention to detail. But yeah, oh yeah, back to the fretboard markers. I like this thing so much that I didn't put it on the other guitar because I felt like on that one it wouldn't work as well. But as some of you may know, I'm building a Jazzmaster right now at the guitar building course as well, which is unfortunately cancelled until like end of next month at least, or whenever the situation will kind of resolve. Don't know yet. So that project is still going on. Haven't been able to attend any of the courses, but on that guitar as well, I'm actually doing this fretboard marker thing as well because I don't know. Let's make it my signature thing. Something. I think it's kind of fun. Where did you go to do this building course? Asks Ben Rosum. In Finland, there's, I don't know if my brother can translate this better, but it's like community college courses or something like that. That's how I would describe them. My brother Pete H in this chat, he is like a professional translator, so maybe he can help out. But I think it's like a community college courses that you can sign up for. They're very affordable, but you always get like a good teacher and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of those happening in the area we both actually live at. There's one happening in my town, there's other happening on the other side of the big city and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a bunch of them and they've been really popular here in Finland. I have a lot of friends who have built many guitars. I have only built like 2.5 right now. I have a friend who's done like 6 or 7 I think, and another one who's done at least 5 as well. So it's a fun hobby. It's like, it's a great way to get your mind off everything else because you really need to concentrate on that specific build and nothing else that's happening in your life right at that time, because otherwise you'll make a mistake, and some of the mistakes aren't repairable. A lot of them are, as we'll find out with the other guitar, but not all of them. What's up in this? Yeah. Yes, I got it correct. It's community college. Thanks, Pete. Yeah. Checking what Sean Zimmerman is writing. By the way, my second display is so much higher that I look upwards. Maybe it looks funny to you, but that's how it is. Yeah. I've heard like about these similar courses. I think somebody from Canada once commented that they have these as well. So check it out, especially once this Corona thing goes away. Like check it out. It's usually pretty affordable. And if you go there not expecting like a masterpiece instrument or like a Fender custom shop thing, I think you'll most likely walk out with a very nice instrument that is playable and it's yours. It's very special in that way already. And the good thing is like you learn a lot about guitars in general. I think I've been much more confident in like adjusting and doing small fixes on my guitar since that. Like the only things I don't do myself are like fret leveling. I'm not confident enough doing that myself, and with the nut as well. Like sometimes I'd rather have a professional luthier do that instead of me. But everything else, like you learn those things and you become comfortable doing those. So highly recommended that way, as like in that sense as well. It's fun. it gets your mind off other things. You get an instrument. You might actually make some friends there as well. And because, well, I made friends there, but also like one of those attendees became my bandmate for several years as well. So that was really cool. And yeah, highly recommended. Let's go back to the build. There's the transition button. Come on. There you go. Yeah, so that was the neck. That's how the guitar body and the glued fretboard thing looks like. And yeah, the body is made out of alder, by the way, if I didn't mention that already. And I don't know if you can see, but check out the kind of cavity for controls. Do you notice something? Somebody was using like a top-mounted drill, someone being me, obviously, and I kind of accidentally drilled too deep, so like the adjustment screw of that drill made like an extra large kind of cavity in that one spot. Luckily, all of that is covered with this metallic thing, so you don't see it, but it's still there. And like looking at these photos, it's a great reminder that I didn't concentrate properly in every single thing that I was doing. So yeah, but it's there, like those kind of things. A lot of the mistakes that you will make or I made can be hidden, so that's kind of cool. Not all of them, as you will see with the other guitar. Me working on the frets, looks like I'm kind of leaving quite excessive amount of fret there. The frets are like standard nickel, and on this one I think they are like just standard jumbo. They're fairly wide and pretty tall, and I think like kind of feel wise it makes this guitar slightly more unique than your standard off the shelf tele, because the frets are just bigger and I like it for vibrato and stuff like that. I'm just super used to it, and like I don't know, it felt great. Let's put it that way. Next photo, all of the frets are in place. I think I've cut out the fret ends as well. And after this, I think I began doing neck carving, it seems. So the thing that's very different between the tele, or like doing a tele neck, and a neck for a kind of what's the set neck design, is the fact that set neck usually needs to be at an angle. Let's unplug this for now. Set neck usually needs to be at an angle on the body, whereas on a tele, let me switch the camera quickly so it makes more sense. Like that. Yeah. But on the tele, it's pretty much kind of flat. And basically, when you still don't have the tuners on the guitar, you can do the neck carve, then you can go back working on the frets, because you can always place it on the table and it will lie flat against the table. That's not the case with a set neck guitar, because it needs to be glued in at a fairly early stage, and you kind of need to do the fret leveling and all of that differently. But as you can see on the photo, like I was doing the frets, then I went to do the neck carving, and then I was back working at the frets. So that's really cool, and you basically just clamp it to the desk you're working on, and that's it. So checking out the chat again. Hey. Yeah, Sami, I agree. The community college courses are indeed cancelled, and yeah, we'll see when they'll continue. So who knows? Are they in Texas? Oh yeah, somebody mentioned Texas. The Texas Toast guitars, something like that. So seen those on Dave's channel, Cheddar Kung Pao, that is. Yeah, I think they have this type of courses. A lot of like luthiers might have these courses as well. So yeah, be sure to check out those as well. I've seen some shops. I don't remember what amp company it was. They had like amp building courses as well, which is cool, like amp assembly courses. All right, moving on. So yeah, that's a huge difference between doing a set neck and a kind of bolt-on neck, because the bolt-on neck is kind of flat in a sense, so you can just take it off and work on that, whereas you first need to glue the neck and only then you do the fret leveling and all of that. So that's a big difference. Neck shape wise, I had no idea what I was going for. I just kind of by accident made this kind of, I want to call it like a U. It's fairly thin. It's kind of smooth, kind of flattens out a little bit when I go up here. And radius wise, I tried to go for like 9.5 to 12, but this being my first guitar, it's probably like 10-ish to maybe 11.5, but it does flatten out a little bit. So it's like it looks like a vintage guitar, but it feels fairly modern to play when you combine it with the jumbo frets as well. So that's really cool because it's just, when you build a guitar for yourself, you kind of want it to feel super comfortable, and I by accident kind of managed to do that because I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just following my teacher's instructions, and the end result turned out great. So here's the body. I think this was like the last sanding before going to apply the first clear coat layer. Looks like it. And here's the neck ready for the fret leveling. You basically kind of masking tape everything around the fretboard except the frets, so you don't do any scratches or damages on it. And yeah, I don't think I have any photos of that other than that first clear coat layer. It doesn't look that amazing, but as you can, if you compare these two photos, like that's what happens with the clear coat layers. And then you get it out, you can immediately see that it's not an level surface by any means. And basically what you do before applying any kind of paint is that you go through the process of applying clear coat. You let it dry, and it needs to dry like at least overnight, which means, or meant in that case, it would be like the next week that you continue. You apply the clear coat layers, you come back next week, you sand most of it off, and then you apply, yeah. So this is what the guitar body would look like when I came back the next week. And then I would sand it to this, which is kind of depressing because it looks nice and shiny, and then you sand most of it off, except you might be able to see like there's some sparkle happening here and there, which means like, well, the basic idea is to get as level surface as possible when you start applying paint, because if the surface isn't kind of leveled, what will happen is when you apply the paint will sink in the wood, and it will sink in it unevenly, and the end result will not look as good as you might hope at that point, because some places will have a lot of paint, some places won't have any paint or very little because it's sinking in the wood. So that's why I apply a lot of base coat layers first, and make sure that the guitar is very kind of flat surfaced before applying the paint. Yeah, so more sanding, woohoo! Anyone who's ever asked like what it's like to build a guitar, I've always said that you get a lot of sanding. If you hate sanding, I don't think it's your thing, because it's like 80% sanding. You cut out something, you sand it, then you cut out it again, then you sand it again, you paint it, then you sand it, you paint it again, you sand it again. Yeah, repeat that 20 times basically. What's going on in the chat? People seem to be finding guitar courses somewhere. Terry, do you know that if that $1,200 to $1,800 price include the materials as well? Because if they do, then it's like a fairly reasonable price. Because something that I haven't mentioned is like, well, the course itself isn't like super expensive, but all of the guitar parts and everything add up quickly. The woods were like, I want to say maybe 60 euros for the body wood, some euros, maybe, I don't know, same amount or maybe a little bit more for maple. I think maple was more expensive. Rosewood, fretboard, like let's say woods were like maybe 120, 140, 150 euros max. But then when you start adding up the tuners, the frets, the side dots, the main dots on the fretboard, pickups, pickguard, all the screws, strap locks, backplate, all of those things. Suddenly you're looking at like 600-700 euros altogether for just the parts, basically, because like we did like a kind of bulk order with everyone else at the course, but it's not cheap. Like if you just want a guitar, you probably should just go to a store and buy one. But yeah, the price adds up pretty quickly. Oh, look, first layer of white paint, and you can immediately tell that the surface isn't even. And if you guessed it, this would mean more sanding. And you know what? There's more mistakes on this guitar. Let's switch to the bigger cam as well again. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here. Let's see. Try to. Yeah, over there. Basically, I had already like painted the guitar and I was applying clear coat layers on it. And I think I was picking up it like the body from a stand or something, and my hand kind of slipped and the body dropped and hit something. And there's few small wood kind of parts that you can see here. It's nothing major, but it's another reminder that yeah, things like this happen. I think you can see it on the photo pretty well. Yeah, over there. But yeah. So I'm laughing because like I forgot how many like mistakes here and there happened. I think something that I won't be able to show it through here, but like when a lot of people were using the paint place, like and the same spray thingy, we would clear it with like this kind of reddish paper. Basically you kind of cover it and then you kind of apply air into it and it kind of cleans up what's going on inside. And sometimes what happens is that some of that red paper kind of ends up in the spray can itself. And what happened is like somebody else had done that and some of the paper had been left inside, and I was applying like a clear coat layer and there's a little bit of that red paper here inside of the kind of clear coat layer, and you can only see it if you like really look closely, but it's so yeah, more mistakes. Let's see what's going on here. More paint layers. Oh look, now it's painted and it has all of the holes drilled for it as well. Another thing that you don't think about is that I like well, something that you don't think about until you actually do it, like you drill all of the holes, like all the pickguard holes, all the holes for the bridge and everything after you've painted the guitar. And that's kind of scary and frustrating as well, because like you have a nice guitar body that's nice and shiny and then you need to drill holes in it and try not to make mistakes so you don't crack the paint and the lacquer as well. So yeah, that's why you follow your teacher's instructions very carefully while they're doing that. Simple as that, really. Pick a cavity shielding happening over there. What's going on with my headphones? They're in the way a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of the thing. And we time skip quite a lot with my assembly. Who's the first one to notice a mistake in this assembly? There's a like I don't know 20-second delay in the chat, or like what you're seeing and what's happening over here, so I'm not actually going to wait till you answer. But just look at the bridge. I have no idea what I was thinking over there. Like those screws or like those springs should be kind of on the other side. Yeah, don't know, don't know what I was thinking there. And yep, here's a close-up of the beautiful frets and the 2 fret markers that I kind of accidentally screwed up, but I actually kind of made them cool, I guess. If that's cool, I think it's fun at least. Hey Ben, welcome back. So yeah, that's the build story of the Tele. And I thought I'll give you a few sounds. I might actually mute like my vocals quickly. I'll just take you through, not vocals, just voice. Uh, Basically, it's like I think it's a Godot bridge. I don't remember anymore. When I was building this guitar, I actually started with like a mini-sized humbucker. I think it was like a little 59 Seymour Duncan that I placed here. And the neck pickup was from the Fender Nocaster set. No, I actually bought the Fender Nocaster set first, like a bridge and neck pickup. And then I swapped the Nocaster bridge pickup to a little 59, which stayed there only for like a couple of months. I just didn't get along with that at any point. So I took that out and put the Nocaster bridge pickup back. That's how it went. And then for a long time it also had like a Nocaster bridge and two Seymour Duncan, no, two DiMarzio, something Area 58, I think is the name of their like noiseless Strat pickups. There's a bunch of videos with me playing that kind of setup, and then I kind of went back Teleway, and now it has two Sheptone pickups in it. Sheptone was kind enough to send me a set of their pickups for this guitar, and I think now it's like perfect. I have a Tele, and I don't want to change this anymore. I'll let it be like that from now on. So yeah, Sheptone something bridge, Sheptone Tele neck pickup, 3-way switch, volume, tone. Let's hear some sounds just for the sake of it, so it's not just me talking. We are going from the guitar into my pedal board. I'll be using a Caroline Pure Sky Overdrive and also a Rev G3 for some heavier sounds. We're going to the crunch channel of the Hughes and Kettner Black Spirit, which is going into my Torpedo Live. And I'll go through pickup selections, just play and mute my vocal microphone just for a second so you can hear the guitar sounds properly. Let's see, do it like that. Guess who forgot to plug in the guitar? It's been one of those kind of days. Just wows. Hi Luis, good to have you here. Made it, welcome. Oh yeah, might want to switch the screen as well. Yeah, super professional today. So sounds, and I'm going to mute my microphone just for a little bit so you can properly. Yeah. So as you can tell, this guitar goes for like pretty heavy sounds. Like I like how it sounds even on high gain. That's just something I didn't expect from a tele before. Like I got one, and it kind of took me by surprise. This is super versatile instrument. I can do like anything from like pop country worship thing to like a rock gig even as well. Like it just sounds really good with the microphone. And yeah, I agree. The G3 is great. It's actually in fairly extreme settings to be honest, because this is a pretty bright guitar, quite a lot of treble off, a lot of bass off, and a lot of middle added. But yeah, it sounds really good. Yeah. Don't touch your eyes, they say. I just touched my eye. That's how it is. I'm home, so I'm safe, right? Alright, let's go to the another guitar. Other guitar. There you go. Hello. This is the VHC Custom, as it says on the headstock. VH stands for my initials, and C stands for custom. VHC Custom is actually kind of a wrong name for it in a sense, because it's like it should be VH Custom, but who cares? It's my guitar. I can call it however I want. This guitar is obviously heavily inspired by the Gibson Midtown Custom. When they announced these, I want to say in 2012, I was super excited about them. Actually got one and had it for a little while, but they had very thin neck profiles and just didn't get along with that guitar at all, neck profile wise. And otherwise it was great. I think it sounded good. Mine was really well built as well, smelled like vanilla, which is something they apparently do a lot. They kind of add a scent to the guitar case. I think like my whole room actually smelled like vanilla for a while, which was really manly. And yeah, not that there's anything wrong with you liking vanilla scent, just saying. But yeah, so when my tele build was kind of coming to an end, this was what I wanted to do next. There weren't any like schematics or drawings available for this guitar, so I read a review, I think I want to say Music Radar, where they said that this guitar, like body wise, it's a flat guitar first of all, but like body wise it's like 30% smaller than a 335, or like there was like exact percentage how much smaller it was. So I looked up for 335 drawings, opened Photoshop and scaled that body size down that amount, and basically came up with my own drawings that I then printed out and took to the luthier on the building course and said like, this is what I want to do, and he helped me make this happen. It's a set neck, mahogany body. There's a pretty thick maple top on this, and it's like chambered on the sides, but there's a center block going on through here. Sheptone Tribute 2 pickups, I think, unless I'm forgetting, and thicker neck profile, slightly smaller headstock than the Gibson one. Goro tuners, I think this is a Goro bridge and tailpiece as well. Small frets. Finish wise, this guitar has some mistakes, like more than what was on the tele. Let me switch to the photos of that one, like that. Transition, boom. Thank you, Ben. I mean, it's a really nice looking guitar. Like, unless you look at it like very close, you don't see those mistakes. So, yeah. With this guitar, because we didn't have like, because it's like a more custom shape, what we had to do first is kind of take those drawings and create like a body shape template for it. So I'm using like this what's it called? Not plywood, but like you know what, Poo Ninja? I've actually recorded a lot of metal tracks with this one. One you heard in the intro as well, for example, it was recorded with this one. It actually does metal fairly well. You kind of just need to adjust the settings on your amp to this guitar. It's dark sounding, let's put it that way. So yeah, build wise, as I already mentioned, we kind of had to create like a template for it first. So here's the drawing I made and printed out. We glued that to like a, I don't know what's it called, like plywood, but like something that we could basically like throw out. Hey Mo! Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. So yeah, printed out the drawings. We glued that drawing to the plywood, and basically I kind of cut this out and carefully shaped it and sanded it so it would be a nice and even template, because that template would define the shape of this body. So I tried to be as careful as I could be. We also like stole the F-hole positioning and everything like that from a 335, so these F-holes are the size of the F-holes on 335 as well. So it's a weird mixture of like an SG and 335 basically. Looks like, oh yeah, this is a slab of mahogany that the body was made out of. Actually, the body and the neck are all from the same piece of mahogany, which is kind of cool. And I ended up getting a really light one as well. So this guitar isn't heavy in any way. Oh, thank you, Mo. Yeah, thank you, Sami. It's MDF, I think. Thank you, guys. It's late. I was helping out setting up a live stream stuff for Sunday today as well. Like my brain's slightly fried, so thank you. I appreciate your help. But yeah, cut out a piece of mahogany like that, and let's see. Yeah, then I would place it on like the guide type of thingy and basically do like a proper cutout. This was the kind of the MDF template that the blade followed and made a nice cutout of the body shape. And oh yeah, I remember like something happened while we were doing that the body started to kind of crack in two pieces for whatever reason. So we had to glue it here like at the tail end of the guitar a little bit and kind of find a way to kind of pressurize it. So I apply pressure on it, like put in the glue and then pressure it and kind of glue it together. So that's what happened as well. I actually forgot that until I saw the photo. But yeah, we managed to put it back together, no problem at all. And then having a kind of a piece from the same mahogany, I started working on the neck. So it's like a mahogany neck, mahogany body, and ebony fretboard as well. So like very traditional Gibson-esque things. I know Gibson isn't cool anymore. I was just checking what Terry was saying, but yeah, at the time Gibson was just fine. It was like 2013, so nothing like too major had happened at that point. I know right now it's like a weird mess going on. But yeah, headstock, as you can tell, actually look like one of the reasons why the headstock is slightly narrower than on the Gibson is that the plank we had left from after like we took the wood we needed for the body was slightly narrower than the headstock, so we just decided to make it a bit narrower, and it's fine. I mean, it looks fairly balanced to me. Like you don't like immediately notice that hey, that guitar has like a narrow headstock. So it didn't really matter. I just unplugged my headphones and hit my table as well. Let me put this away for a while. There you go. Much better. So yeah, something that we did on this guitar, I think this is called like a scarf joint. So basically, the plank you just saw, you saw it on an angle, 45-degree angle, I think. No, that's less than 45 degrees. Whatever the Gibson headstock angle is, please somebody remind me what is the Gibson headstock angle? 12 degrees, something like that. Basically, you do a cut and then you take that piece and kind of glue it underneath it together. And basically what this means is like you get a stronger headstock joint. I know Gibsons are famous for their headstock breakage, and one of the reasons is like they don't do the scarf joint. Instead, they just, when you are cutting out the pieces, they just continue and then like do an angle and just go downwards, and the pores of the wood still continue like this. So if I switch to this camera quickly, so basically the pores of the wood would still like move on like this, even though the headstock goes on an angle, and that's why this becomes a weak point. I know a lot of other people have also explained it, but just saying it and adding it to the story basically. But yeah, we did a scarf joint which already like makes this joint much stronger and less prone to breakage. So yeah, you can tell by like where the pieces of wood are, how they're glued, and haven't had any issues with it. I think I've like tripped on this guitar a few times, like it has fallen down, but it's been just fine. So made a lot of sense to do that neck joint. This is how I started doing these hollow sides. MDF medium density fiberboard black, basically sawdust glued back into wood planks. Yeah, pretty much what's all of the IKEA stuff is made out of, right? So yeah, but back to the photos. As you can see, this is what it looked like when I started kind of doing the hollow sides. And again, we didn't have like any proper drawing for this because it's a custom shape, because it's smaller than 335, so we just kind of went by feel. Gluing the neck joint, yes. Or am I gluing the... Oh, something that you cannot see, but there's like an ebony veneer, like a thin ebony layer on the headstock here as well. Because it's painted black, you can't really tell it, but like there's the mahogany neck, and then there's like a thin ebony veneer on top of it as well. And you'll see soon why it's there. I think that's what we're gluing there, or maybe the neck, don't remember anymore, and not sure, can tell from the photo either. And ta-da! Here you can see the hollow sides of the guitar body. And you saw the rough kind of holes I drilled there, and then I would go with like a top mounted router and just actually this had to be done by hand as well. I had to be really careful because there was no like proper guide to take me through or like make sure that I don't slip and cut out of the body. Then it would be a lot of fixing. But yeah, did it by hand. I think it turned out fine. Again, nobody's going to see if it's not like 100% even. You can see some burn marks at some places, like in any corner or anything like that. Those can easily burn because you kind of try to move through it slowly, and when you do move slowly, the kind of rotating blade stays in one place for longer, and it usually like burns down the wood a little bit. So that's where the kind of dark spots come from. And as you can see in like some places where there's lighter wood, like not, yeah, well basically like on the longer sides I was moving fast, so nothing burned, and then in the corners you can see that it's much darker. Then we're gluing in the maple top. Basically we took one plank, split it in two, so it's like a book match thing, even though obviously there's no flame or anything happening. I knew I wanted to paint the guitar just black, so it didn't really matter, but it's still like split it in half, like book match it, and you're good to go. And here it is glued on, and also kind of I've done the cutout here as well, and all of those things. I think the photo explains it. I'm super happy that I documented this process much more carefully, because it's kind of fun to go through all of the phases that you need to go through to make this guitar happen. And I hope you can see that this is me drawing the F holes. Again, kind of by feel, we're using the template from the 335, but because 335 is way bigger body size wise, we kind of, like, you can see the center line on the guitar body. We kind of had to like just say like, okay, so this template needs to be offset by this and this much from either side when we are kind of measuring where to place the f-hole kind of template thing. So they might not be 100% even on both of the sides, but again, nobody's going to notice. So, well, maybe one guy might notice, but yeah, here you can see that exactly like, now we did use the 335. No, wait, actually, let me take that back. Actually, we found out that the 335 template did work for this body shape as well. So the f-holes are placed the same way as on 335. So that's kind of cool. And it actually helped a lot because then I could use that template with the top mounted route to do this. Yeah. I love this photo because I remember being super happy at this point because it looked really good with the maple top and the f-holes and everything, and my dream of having my own 335-ish type of thing was getting close. Here I have also routed the pickup cavities and the neck joint cavity as well. And the next phase was me shaping the headstock, and yeah, you can tell by this photo that it's narrower than the Gibson one, but I don't care, you don't notice it or pay attention to that at least. Something that's different on this guitar as well is that I decided to go with binding on the fretboard as well, and I was fully aware that it's much more work, which it was. Here's me gluing the first piece of the what's the word, I forgot it already, but yeah, me gluing the binding on the yes, binding is the word, binding on the fretboard material. And I think the next ones are also about, oh yeah, while drilling the hole from the headstock to where the neck, what's the truss would be, again, I think I drilled a little bit too deep and it kind of cut out some excess wood. Again, something that you don't notice when the guitar, like, it's like you don't notice it here, but that's what happened as well. Like, mistakes that can be hidden, but that are still there. And I don't know, I guess I'm a perfectionist because looking at this photo, I'm slightly annoyed that I had to make that mistake. Fret work again. No, sorry, this is gluing the binding on the fretboard. And yeah, a lot of masking tape and just trying to hold it together. And this is what the guitar body looks like when you add all the binding around it. Basically, it's just a one piece around the whole body, and you start it from here because this is like the easiest part, and you start it from here and start like add some glue, then you move a little bit and then add more and more and more and more masking tape. And these corners, and especially these corners, are super difficult. Like, the binding likes to kind of detach itself, so sometimes you actually need to go in and like try to kind of glue them again. But I think I managed to do it almost entirely from the first. You said wood, Jonathan. Good to have you here too. Thank you. I don't know why this cracks me up so much. Maybe because, well, that's a very Jonathan joke, let's put it that way. But yeah, that's what the guitar body looks like when all of the binding is glued. It's like, you know what, like, what's the cartoon? Basically like the coyote when he gets hit by a rock or something, like when you see him in the hospital, it's like fully covered in like bandages. That's how the guitar body looks like after you apply like all the binding around the guitar body. I didn't want to do the binding on the backside just because it would be much more extra work for I felt like what was very little gain. I didn't feel like it needs another layer on the backside, plus doing it around the neck joint and everything. Like, I wasn't up for it. I think this was enough. Didn't want to make it too blingy, so to speak. This logo was designed by me, but it was also made out of the same material you use to do fretboard markers. I'm completely forgetting what the material is called right now. Again, please somebody remind me. But yeah, this was very, very difficult to cut out, especially the C shape. And this material cracks up pretty easily. I think I had to glue it together at some point. I think it like split, like once I got the letters cut out, I think it split in two. But yeah, that took a lot of time and a lot of precision hand sawing with that small saw. Uh, Very time consuming, but I think the end result is good though, so I was happy. Fretboard with the new binding around it looks great. Perloid, yes, thank you, Terry. Exactly, that's what it was. Perloid is like, it looks awesome when it's done well, but it's pretty fragile. Like if you drop it on the floor, it might already like crack up. And when you, even with smallest of the saws, it's still like pretty easy to basically destroy it. Mother of pearl, yeah, might be that as well. And yeah, fitting the truss rod. As you can tell, the neck hasn't been like fully shaped yet. We're just fitting the truss rod, and I think next we're, oh yeah, fretboard radius. I think on this one I just went for 12, like a very traditional Gibson one. Unless I'm forgetting, I think you can see it a little bit in the photo. I love the piece of ebony on this one. It looks beautiful. And for this guitar, I went with just small dots on the fretboard itself. A friend of mine was building his like 335-ish thing while I was still building my telly. I think he was finishing his, and he went for like a crazy build where it was like a full-size 335, but he actually like the body was mahogany, and he actually carved the maple top on that guitar, and it took him so much time to like carefully carve the maple top from the top, but also from the inside as well, so it's not like a huge slab of wood inside, but you like, so he had all the carves on the top but also on the inside as well, and that was just incredible amount of work. It's a beautiful guitar though, but just like some people have the patience to go all the way. I don't know if I'm one of them though. Yeah, Mother of Pearl would also break apart easily. Yeah, probably Mother of Pearl, that is. So, because it's a slightly like a custom model, we had to like discuss a little bit of like what kind of neck joint and on what angle we're going to make it, because the body shape and especially this having a flat top wouldn't really work. Like we couldn't do like a Les Paul neck angle, which I think it's a little bit steeper than this. So the luthier who was responsible for the course suggested that we would do it at the SG angle, which is slightly more, well, it's a lesser angle than what's going on Les Paul, because it has a carved top, so basically the bridge is kind of higher on this side. But because this is a flat top, it doesn't have to be as drastic. So we went with the SG kind of neck pocket and everything like that. It was a lot of careful work to get the angles both on the guitar and the neck joint as well correctly. And I think here I'm taking a look at like what it all will look like. Basically you actually glue the neck up until the end of the first pickup cavity, or like the neck pickup cavity, and then you just kind of drill out the excess wood from there. So that's what we did. Let's see, let's go to the next one. Here you can see the VHC logo cut out, and once I had it ready, I basically had like a small knife, I think, just kind of tried to follow the lines of the logo carefully and made a small cutout there, and added some chalk dust on top of it. And I think you might be able to tell where the logo is. Let's see. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, so the chalk dust would kind of sink in there, and then I think I used like a super small drill to cut out the wood inside of those letters. I'm hoping the live stream didn't stop in any way. I see like something rotating over there. Let me know if it stopped. But yeah, that's where I was at that point. Yeah, gluing the neck. Again, a lot of planning of how this should be done, a lot of placing different like wood pieces, how to pressurize it from different points. It's a yeah, set neck is so much more work, and it's so much more kind of precise work as well. If you get the angles wrong and things like that, that will affect the tuning stability of the guitar. It will affect how it plays, just all of it basically. Oh, still up. I don't know. Just I think my view was just pausing for whatever reason. But yeah, here you can see the neck joint. We also had to add like these little guide pieces for the fretboard, because the fretboard would also be like on a slight angle. Yeah, here you can see. So it's like, because the neck joint part is slightly narrower than where the rest of the neck, we had to add like these little pieces and match them to the angle of the neck and the neck joint. So more records. Okay, thank you. No, thank you. Oh, wait, what am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah. Here you go. Okay, this was gluing the fretboard on the guitar, and again, slightly more difficult. Not slightly, it's a lot more difficult because you need to glue the fretboard after the neck is already glued in. So it's, yeah, as you can tell, it's much more work. And I think what happened with this guitar was that when I was positioning the fretboard, when I pressurized it properly, it basically moved, the fretboard just moved a little bit towards the guitar body, a bit too much than it was supposed to. And if you can tell, the guitar actually has like twice as wide knot than you usually would have, because the whole fretboard is a little bit this way, and basically the scale isn't exactly like 24.75 inches. It's probably a bit less because of that. But yeah, that's what happened while gluing the neck. Luckily, it could be compensated with just having a bigger knot. And here's the fretboard glued. Looks nice. And yeah, in this photo you can actually see like how huge the distance between the fretboard and the headstock is, and you can see the ebony veneer on top of it as well. But yeah, that's why it has a bigger knot than usually. Pickup cavity, again, kind of drilled out. Through neck just glue on the sides, yeah, but when you're doing hollow sides, that becomes a bit more complicated, I think. So I don't know, are the neck throughs that are semi-hollow, is it possible to do that? Maybe, not sure if it's possible on this build though. Working on frets, having them ready. Yeah, more fret work. Basically I would hammer them in carefully. Then what's this? Oh yeah, we're gluing like an extra piece on the back, I think. Yeah, something to kind of have a bigger neck joint, I think. Yeah, unless I'm forgetting something again. Yeah, just more kind of wood on the back. Here you can see that I had already worked on like a rough neck shape. That's not the final neck shape, as you might have guessed. Funny jokes. And here's the neck shape. For this one, I intentionally went for a slightly asymmetrical neck, meaning, let's switch to a different camera so I can explain a little bit. Meaning, it's not 100% like the highest point of the neck isn't in the middle, but it's slightly more on the kind of upper side over here. And for me personally, it creates like a smoother feeling of kind of guiding my hand this direction a little bit. I had a Gibson Les Paul 2012 model for a few years, and I love that guitar. I had to sell it for financial reasons. I think my laptop broke. I was just like, me and my wife were both students at the time, So I had to sell it to get a new laptop to be able to work and do school stuff. So yeah, but I love the guitar, and it had like an asymmetrical neck shape that I really liked. So for this one, like this is a way chunkier neck than on the telly, and it's slightly asymmetrical. So as I mentioned, like the kind of high point is here on the thicker side, and for me it just feels comfortable like that. I really like that. That's what I went for, and I think I succeeded pretty well. Yeah, cutting out the VHC logo thingy, lot of ebony dust, which by the way I had to collect and store because I would need it a little bit later. Here's the cutout, and some of you might already guess why I needed that a little bit later, because as you can tell, like there's excess space around the logo or like the inlay, and what I would do is to basically take glue and mix it with the ebony and create this black gooey thingy that would pretty much fill the holes around the logo. And because it was like transparent, I think it was epoxy glue, and the dust from and like ebony dust basically create like this black ebony glue goo thingy, and fill it up, sand it, ta-da, looks perfect, and you don't notice that there's like ebony thingy going on. Looks good, if I may say. Pick up cavity, pick up cavity things like that. Love how the body wood looks in this photo. Then, oh yeah, because my guitar was pretty light and the body wood was like, and just the whole mahogany wood was pretty porous. My guitar teacher recommended that I would basically like take some of the sawdust from that guitar body and mix it up with, I don't remember what like there's a Finnish term for that, like pakkeli or something like that. I have no idea what it is in English. Basically mix it up with that material and kind of just put it all over the guitar body and let it dry, and then sand off. It would fill up the pores of the wood pretty well and create a more even surface for me to start applying base coat layers on. So that's what I did. After doing that, the guitar was ready to go for painting. Obviously I had to cover the fretboard because I didn't want to paint that, but pretty much everything else was ready to go for the clear coat layers, that is. So looks like there's a time skip going on here because I have skipped everything between the clear coat layers, and I remember there had to be a lot of them because it was a really porous wood, and like at some points when I would apply the clear coat, it would just sink in, and yeah, a lot of base coat layers. That's something that I definitely remember from this build. Then filler, yeah, thank you, exactly, filler. It just makes sense. Filler as is this content. No, I don't know. Good jokes, yay. Yeah, first layer of paint, I think. No, this is actually several layers of paint because I have already like scraped the binding. It looks like I made a time skip taking photos. Look, somebody's also working on like a PRS type over there, I think. Yeah, it looks like that. But yeah, time skip, added all the paint layers, then I had to scrape the binding, and that was a lot of work as well, and I wasn't like super careful doing that. You can see tiny bits of wood here and there when you go through these, but again, on the video it looks great, so I don't know if I care that much. Then when you have all of those beautiful colors applied, then you need to sand again. So the guitar is ready for the final coat layers. Well, primer paint coat could be used as well. It really depends. I think it depends on what color you're going for. For this one, my teacher did recommend just using just base coat, and then a lot of, I think there was a lot of also like layers of just paint as well. I don't claim to be an expert in this, like why it's base coat layers instead of primer. But yeah, I think in a lot of cases they do, especially if like for some colors it makes a lot of sense to apply like some primer colors, and then on top of that you apply the actual color you want to go for. But in this case, this is what I was instructed to do, and obviously I followed my teacher's instructions. And here you can see everything is matte and ready to go for the final coat layers. And oh boy, I have missed a photo or two in between because, well, first of all, just a second. Because the next photo is this, but this is the guitar already like buffed and everything. And a critical thing that is missing in between is, and I've mentioned this in few videos, including my Jazzmaster build diary video, which I've done as well. It's a video series still in progress. While buffing this guitar, after applying a few, let's switch to this cam. While applying the final coat layers on this guitar, well, that part went well, no issues there. But when I was buffing this guitar, everything else was done already, and then I was buffing the neck, and as you can tell over there, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. I think I just hit the microphone as well. Allow me. Yeah. What happened there was like the rotating buffer thing also had like an adjustment screw next to it. So there was like the brush thing, and then there was like an adjustment screw next to it, and you had to be careful, excuse me, not to hit it. And guess what happened? I was almost completely done, and then my hand slipped, and that screw hit right into the neck on this back side, and it cut out quite a lot of wood. I have a photo of it somewhere, but somehow I didn't add it to this show right now. But I think you get the idea. Like it was like I want to say like a half centimeter deep hole over here, and I was so bummed because like the guitar was almost ready like to be assembled. And what we decided we would do is like I went and bought a lot of epoxy glue, and we filled it out with, I think first of all we filled it out with like mahogany dust and epoxy glue, did few layers of that, sanded it even, tried not to destroy the neck shape, and then also I think I just colored, yeah, basically we just filled it with epoxy and mahogany glue, and I think I painted over this with something that I don't remember anymore, but basically it's filled with epoxy on over here. And again, it's something you don't notice on the videos. It's something that you don't even like notice when you're playing. You can feel the dent a little bit, but it's there. And because I had to sand it down here and like apply epoxy glue and everything like that, I decided to make the whole neck kind of matte finished. So I took like a fine grain sandpaper and ended up sanding it down to a matte finish here as well. It's still black. I still retain the color, but it's not glossy as the rest of the guitar. Let's see if I can. I'm not sure I like this camera because it like goes crazy with the exposure for whatever reason when it's anything black. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to return it. But yeah, back to the guitar. Yeah, a really biggish mistake, but I survived it, and it was only temporary. Like, yeah, few several like finish wise, it's not as good as the Tele because well, Tele was much simpler as well. There's a gigantic knot on this one. Gigantic knot. Hey, somebody make a joke about that. And then yeah, the dent in the neck as well. But the guitar's playable. I've actually done a little tour with this guitar as well, and it's staying in tune and played fine. Like, it's a workable guitar. Not workable. It's like a workhorse guitar. And because it has these dents, I'm not afraid to take it with me on the road or to a gig or to rehearsal and anything like that. Because if I dent it, so what? It already has some, and just kind of adds to its story, if you will. And originally, when I built this, I got the same Gibson Burst bucket pickups that were on the Midtown Custom, the Gibson version 1, but pretty quickly realized that they're not really that good, to be honest. I don't like how they sound. I know a lot of people do like them, and that's fine, but just I personally didn't enjoy how they sounded. So I got the Sheptone tribute pickups on a Black Friday sale several years ago. So, yeah. Otherwise, it's pretty much stock. Actually, not exactly. We did replace the nut, but I think we used like a synthetic nut at first because we didn't have like a big enough like bone piece to do a nut from. But later, it's been replaced with a bone nut, and that significantly changed the sound for the better on this guitar, which I really like. And comments. Yeah, like that kind of sound. It's talking about like luthier teacher had once snapped a Les Paul build headstock. Yeah, that can happen. Yeah. Yeah, Terry, that's a good point. It's like kind of like a Gibson Midtown version of the 339, actually. Oh yeah, that's true. But isn't 339 also like a carved top? Yeah, I think it's also carved top, but this is like the flat top version. I don't know. Somehow, like I think the whole thing started from me seeing someone. Oh yeah, check out what the camera does when there's more black in the picture. Well done, camera. I think I saw someone play like a Foo Fighters song with the Black Midtown Custom, and that kind of triggered something in my head. Like, hey, I need to have that guitar, and like now I have it. It's just slightly different than the one you get from the shop, and that's completely fine. Actually, kind of fun. I like big. Nah. Thank you, Ben. I was kind of waiting for that one, to be honest. Thank you for delivering. Um, yeah, I think this experience has made me love relics a little bit more, like just for the reason that they kind of feel played in, like you're not afraid to scratch them more instead of like buying something like perfectly finished and then you're like scared to do anything with it. No fun. How heavy is it? This is pretty light. It's actually lighter than my telly, and it's fairly well balanced. It's on my knee. There's maybe a tiny bit of neck dive. Well, actually not really. I don't know, 3 kilos something, I would say. Closer to 3 than 4, let's put it that way. Haven't weighed it. Actually, yeah, I haven't. But it's on the lighter side. So, and luckily it turned out well balanced as well. I was a little bit scared that it would be neck heavy when I was building it, but when you add all of the electronics and the pickups and everything, then it became very well balanced. As you can tell, it doesn't really dive on my knee over here. So yeah, it is good. Just some sounds. I'll try to be more professional with these now. I'm on mute. Might also want to plug in my headphones so I hear what I'm playing. Let's do it like this. There you go. Jonathan is so much fun with the nod jokes. Okay. Exactly the same settings. Let's see if this is in tune. Not too bad. Let me mute the vocal mic for a little bit. Espoo Ninja. It's 2 notes DI, so from the Black Spirit 200 into the Torpedo Live. I don't gent. Maybe this guitar might gent. I don't. But yeah, I'm surprised. Like before finalizing this build, I didn't like think this guitar could do metal. But when I started doing YouTube videos, like I think the first like proper metal track I did was like a Joyo Medio amp, and I thought like, hey, why not? Let's try it out, and it worked really well. And now that I have the Ibanez AZ, I do prefer that for metal. It's kind of a bit more focused, but like actually, I think like yesterday I got a comment from someone for like one of my videos where I play metal with this one, and somebody just commented like, "Hey, you're doing metal with jazz guitar." I was like, "Yeah, it works. It works." And these are like very PAF style pickups as well. Uh, it works. So I don't know how many more times I'm going to say it works, but yeah, those are the stories of my guitars. My audio levels is too low. Of course, here you go. Sorry. Hello. Okay, so let me repeat again. Sorry for being so professional. It's late. It's 10:30 in the evening here already. So what I was trying to say is like it works surprisingly well for metal. I didn't expect it to work this well when I was building this. I thought like, hey, I'm going to get like a cool rock guitar, and I was fine with that, and thought I would get something else for metal. But then when I got this, I like had this done, and I think I was working on like a Joyo Medio, a little kind of orange style amp demo. I thought like, hey, let's just try what I can get out of this, and I was surprised. It sounds thick and surprisingly tight as well, like very usable metal sounds. And I got a comment recently on one of my videos where somebody was like saying, "Hey, you're playing metal with jazz guitar." Like, pretty sure he was complaining, and like, yeah, why not? Like, you can play metal with semi-hollows as well if you want to. And these are like very vintage style pickups as well. So, because Shepton Tribute is something that I didn't mention, like go for the like the traditional PAF style sound. So they're like these are meant for like classic humbucker sounds, and they do metal as well. So kudos to Shepton as well, like fantastic pickups, and I like it. Like it's one of those guitars. Like first of all, because it's my own build, like I wouldn't never sell it, and well, I wouldn't be able to get any money for it, obviously, as well, because nobody's going to buy Vlad's guitar when you can use the same money to buy like a Gibson or Heritage or whatever other brands there are. But like, it's here to stay, not only because it's my own build, but because it's actually really good guitar. Same goes for the Tele. It was my main guitar for many years. Then came the AZ. Yeah, exactly. Like the AZ is here to stay as well. But like, none of these guitars kind of take away from each other, so to speak. They all have their very unique own sounds, and they're very different playability wise. Like, they feel different to play, different sounds, and they inspire me to play differently as well. And that's kind of the most important thing. So I'm just happy I have 3 really good electrics. I also have my Harley Benton T-style thing over there, and something else over there as well. Well, you might have seen there's like a Harley Benton Headless, which is a very different guitar from everything else here as well. But more on that in a different video. If you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask them, because I think I'm getting tired. I don't think I'm getting tired. I am getting tired. It's been a long day. Still have to work tomorrow, even though I'm working remotely, but still it means I have to get up at like reasonable hours, let's put it that way. So hit me up with your questions. I'm happy to hang out for a few more minutes here, and thank you for joining me. I was kind of nervous to see whether the Thursday, because this is like a Thursday morning for some of you, like if anyone will kind of join, but you guys have joined. There's been a lot of fun things happening in the chat. Thank you for that, and hope you enjoyed this as well, because you got your big cheese again. You got your big G's, I got my B-Stack. I bought a lot of stuff from B-Stack as well. Actually, it's like I need to get on like an audio interface, like an additional one to the one I have, because mine only has 2 inputs, and sometimes that's way too little. So I need to get like, I plan to get like a Focusrite track unit maybe with like 8 inputs, and there was one in B-Stack recently, but then I found out from my accountant that I haven't paid all of my taxes from last year that I was supposed to, so my money went that way instead. So I'll get my Focusrite thing a bit later. But enough of my finances. If you guys don't have any questions, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining. I would really appreciate if you give this video a thumbs up, and you have already commented, so thank you for that as well. And if this is the first video you've seen, or you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. I'll plan to do more of these in the future. If you guys have any video ideas you'd like me to see, not like me to see, like me to do, like I may have access to a workshop now, like a guitar workshop, where I can do modifications, where I might go and finalize my Jazzmaster build as well, and stuff like that. So if you have like any ideas for those type of videos, let me know in the comments of this video, and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, thank you everyone so much. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna go and watch some Netflix